Okay, so welcome to, what is this? June,
Yes, June 9th.
the June rec board meeting, Zoom meeting. So we have like not very many items, but I'm sure there's plenty to talk about. So, Caroline, do you want to just sort of give an update on the sort of activities that have been going on, which we provided some guidance on, and then council sort of thought about and has acted on some things, and I don't know about others. So, including
Sure,
the top plot and the road closures, and if there's anything that we need to do for follow-up.
sure. So the tot lot is open. Lower Makefield was the only municipality in Bucks that decided to keep um, their playgrounds closed through to green. So we kind of went with the majority here, but we did have Fast Signs print a large blue safety guideline sign that asks that parents wear a mask and that children not in the same family maintain 6 feet of separation, and that it has a warning that the equipment isn't sanitized. So we are monitoring. If things get overcrowded, we might need to reassess the situation. But so far, it looks like it's pretty much pre-COVID levels. It's not being crowded. I haven't seen more than one family there at a time so far. The road closure, no real update since last I sent you an email, because by the time we got to it at our last meeting, it was almost 10 p.m. So we kind of shuffled it to the next meeting. But I think community outreach, which is headed up by Uri Feiner, is going to take that on. And the plan is to create walking maps, which West Forker had already started, and then close some of the less traveled streets, perhaps like Brees and look over to create a loop. So that's where we are with that. I think that's everything. We haven't actually received confirmation yet from Firehouse Cycles that closing the alleyway there in Buttonwood Plaza would work for them. So that's kind of on hold as well. But Buttonwood Park, people are welcome to bring a picnic blanket and eat takeout there, except for Saturday mornings. But it also seemed like the restaurant owners who were on the call for the council meeting last week really didn't have the time right now to organize, setting up tables every night and things like that. So it didn't sound like there was a huge interest, but we did loosen parking restrictions so that restaurants can put tables in their parking lots and also on the sidewalks.
Okay, and so far, it doesn't look like it's impeding sidewalk traffic or any need to close the road, I guess.
Yeah, so far we asked them to leave a 5 to 6 foot opening on the sidewalks. So far so good. We haven't had a parking issue yet because there's not, even with the outdoor seating expanded, there's still not a ton of capacity. So that's another situation that we're keeping a close eye on, though, and we'll revisit it at each council meeting to see if we need to pull back on that and reopen some parking. But so far so good.
Okay. On the tot lot, have you communicated to LMT that we opened the lot, or should I just follow up with the email, because that rec director was nice enough to respond to my request for guidance.
I did respond to her
Okay.
separately and said thank you so much for taking all the time to put that together. I didn't tell her that we reopened. I know the supervisors know, but it would be probably a good idea to just let her know.
Okay, I'll just circle back and thank her again. Okay. Rec director.
I saw what Yardley Inn did for their outdoor seating in the Continental. Kind of neat,
It is. It would be cool to have it all the time, but.
Yeah, I mean, right. Well, if people walk more, then they don't need the parking.
Only works for us Yardley Borough residents, but
There's plenty of people that are within walking distance at LMT. All right, I'm going to do a 20-minute walk map. Okay, so there's nothing that we need to do to support any kind of road closures or walking maps or anything.
I think Uri does plan to pull you back in on that. So I'll follow up with him.
Okay.
But I think I thought the hope was that we could crank those out pretty quickly. So
Okay.
I'll see what's going on with that.
So if there's something that either me or Parks and Rec or some combo of those, let me know.
All right, will do.
And Firehouse Cycles, I don't know how the outreach is, how you tried to get a hold of them, but because they've been so busy,
Yeah.
I think he's taken his phone off the hook.
Yeah. So Paula has reached out in a variety of ways, and I definitely don't blame him. I think he's just so busy. So that's also an answer in and of itself, that he's so busy that closing the plaza probably isn't good.
Yeah, he's, my son's actually working there again, and I think he's pretty much sold every single bike he has.
Wow.
And has a 2-week backup of repairs.
Life could be worse for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's stressful in a different way. And then I think at this point, I think he doesn't have any bikes to sell and he can't get supplies, so it's probably gonna just drop off. So who knows? Yeah. No, I think
Everything's new territory.
it's crazy. All right. Well, that's great. Thanks a lot. And that's a lot of action by the borough in response. That's great. Okay, so I want to talk about the races. I didn't really have anything specific. I think last time we said that we would maybe circle back. Here's the notes from the last meeting that I'm scrolling through. I hope I'm not making you dizzy, but I think we said we would talk at the July meeting about whether to sort of evaluate where we are with the races. But I don't know if there's anything else we want to talk about. Jimmy, you reported 2 people withdrew. Is that right? From
Yeah, two I think it was mile participants in the last month, but we did gain 1 5K participant last week or so.
We did. I missed that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I just looked at the numbers today, and current registration we have just under $1,200, and then I kind of re-estimated. Well, if you do an estimate on what the total people we have signed up today, right now, 14 in the mile and 24 in the 5K, we would be about
24 in 5K is what you said?
Yeah, 24.
Okay.
To put those 2 races on, around $2,000 when you consider the base fee and the cost per runner from the timer, and then the inflatable and the t-shirts. I kind of estimated at $400 for.
So let me just throw out there, because I pulled up the t-shirt bill from last year. So we paid about $3,400 for t-shirts.
Yeah, well, this was based on 38 participants. I just
okay. So that breakdown was $750 for the most of them. I think the XX went for $950. If we don't get as many, I'm sure that price will go up a little bit, but that's just a ballpark.
Yeah, so if we have 38 and I just kind of guessed at $10 a shirt, then it's $380. I just made it $400. So yeah, that's kind of, so we're still in the hole. We'd still be about $700 short right now. We'd lose 700, actually what, 778 is what we would lose right now. And again, that's just a guesstimate on t-shirts But those are hard numbers. The timer fees are pretty much hard numbers. The cost per runner and the base fee that they charge.
What did you say, around 750?
$778.
778.
778, okay.
But that doesn't also, I don't know what the other costs are, like the porta potties and anything else. I was just kind of taking the biggest chunk, which was the t-shirts and the timer. So I'm sure there's other things that we,
I mean, if you have those numbers, I don't think, do you have to have a porta potty?
well, that's true.
I don't know. I guess we do, but
That can be, actually, that piece can be a little bit pricey, the porta potty.
They're about 350, I think, aren't they?
Wow.
A piece.
Okay.
Probably.
They
Yeah.
should charge us by squares of toilet paper.
We have to get the handicapped accessible ones because they can't be tipped over so easily.
right.
So, that's kind of where we're at. Guesstimate, if you average $30 per participant, it's going to take about 65 people to break even.
I guess people are going to want to wait till we get closer, right, before they decide if it's something they want to do.
I think
Yeah.
if we go green, people are going to be really looking for races. And I don't think the big races are going to be able to be put on. So
Yeah.
if there's a small race, I think you're going to have a better chance of getting people to sign up.
And I had a friend of mine that's involved in another race that I'm involved with, sent something over from a news channel in Jersey saying that the limit on outdoor gatherings in New Jersey is going to be raised to 100 people immediately, and they expect the limit to be raised to 250 by June 22nd and 500 people by July 3rd.
Wow.
So all of those scenarios are currently under our total. And heck, by July, I mean, if we even are close to what they're doing, and those numbers are true, by June 22nd, there's 250.
Well, the Washington's Crossing is saying if we go green, they'll allow 250 participants, but that is volunteers, that is race spectators, that's everything included. So that's doable if that Washington's Crossing, if it's just the canal part, it's going to be the same thing down here.
Yeah.
So that would be to our benefit over larger races.
So, I guess then that whenever we decide in July if we're going to do it, then we're also probably have to consider what the limits are and maybe put a limit on the registration numbers. And so we just don't go over and we don't turn people away.
Yeah. Calculate what our volunteers are, whatnot.
Yeah. But I think that's better than what we were thinking the last time we met, as far as ability to pull it off.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So that's
The only thing we can do is wait for another month, right?
Yeah. I think so. And I don't know, it just seems like every day we learn more and we
Fingers
just
crossed we don't go back.
right. We don't want to go there. I don't know if so I guess we could work back to, if we want to try and ask for permission to do walk to run. I guess walk to run, if you have less than 25 people, you could do that now, right?
I don't know. I'm not sure what the regs are right now, but if we got 25 people, we rarely hit 25. We're close to it many times, but I don't think we much ever went over 25.
So maybe that's something that at the July meeting, we can, if we decide to do it, we can ask council to, if we can do walk to run. Do we have to, Caroline, do we have to ask council about these races too? Like make a recommendation that we'd like to do them, or what's the sort of, I mean, in the past, it wasn't, life wasn't this complicated.
Yeah, I think the council approval would come with the change in the event permit, so we would discuss it at that time, but I can't see any reason, as long as we're in green, which I imagine we will be, why they wouldn't be approved. Similarly with the walk to run, it seems like it's a little bit of gray area. Some municipalities are allowing, in Bucks are allowing organized sports and others aren't, so I think it's kind of a toss-up, a call for the municipality. So I think we would probably be open to that, though.
Okay.
Outdoors.
Yeah, it's all outdoors. And people kind of socially distance automatically, right, Jimmy? Just based on their.
Yeah, there's a lot of accordion out and accordion back in. If you had more than 3 or 4 people together, I'd be surprised. And I suspect that there'll be fewer people just in general because of the people are still pretty anxious about the towpath.
Yeah. Totally get that. Okay. Anything else we should talk about? Thanks, Sue, last time for following up with the porta potty people.
Good.
That was good. All right, so then Yardley Community Connections, I missed the deadline, which was last Friday, but Paula said she's desperate for articles. So if we want to promote the races, we could put them in the Community Connections. It's for the July through September period. I just don't know. I mean, I guess we could say we're hoping to have them, or I don't know.
Tentatively date set.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Be worth doing, just a date kind of thing.
Yeah, I think whenever you're ready
Yeah,
for us
I
to
would
start
do
pushing-
that. Yeah. Yeah, I would at least mention something about it, that it's being talked about and there's a good chance that we will have it. So they'll be interested and be looking for it.
Okay. And okay, I couldn't think of anything else. Like, I don't know if it's July through September, so we don't have to say anything about Halloween. That's something we usually do, but
Not too much going on, I guess. Summer.
Really?
Yeah.
it's all you, Sue, and the farmer's market. You got the corner on the market.
You know what's interesting about the farmer's market? Because we don't have entertainment and, you know, we're in this sort of setting, people aren't hanging around.
Yeah.
So they come, they shop, and they go. So we actually counted more than our high attendance last summer at last week's market. I think people were like so crazy to get out and get some vegetables. And we didn't have crowding. I mean, people kept their distances because it was just a constant flow of people coming and going. It was really interesting.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And everybody but 2 people last week wore masks.
Really, like people that came.
Yeah, customers.
And do you say anything to them?
Yeah, I mean, we've been every week. Penn State has a farmers market manager group, you know, that has a Zoom meeting, and they've had Department of Ag people on, and they've made it clear that we can't enforce that, especially if we're in a public setting. We can only request it, you know. So one woman didn't have a mask, and I approached her and just asked her, you know, do you have a mask you can put on? And she said, oh, I have asthma, I can't wear a mask. Which, you know, if they claim a physical limitation, that's the end of it. So I just said to her, well, you know, please just pay attention to your social distancing then. And she was very nice about it. She said, I will. And she did.
Oh, good.
The other guy was kind of a jerk.
Oh,
Yeah. So, but you know, there weren't any confrontations. He just got a little close to somebody else, and they
Ugh.
asked him to back off, and he didn't like that. But you know, he bought his vegetables and left. That was
Uh,
it. Everybody else was very, you know, interested in being safe, and it was nice.
That's good. All right. Well, so anything, Caroline, do you have any other agenda items for us?
Not that I can think of right now.
You don't have any jobs for us?
No, but thank you for jumping on the tot lot and
Oh, yeah.
thinking creatively. Any more ideas you have that, you know, could bring people into town safely during this time are welcomed.
Yeah, no, happy to help. And it was really just an email to it was really nice of that LMT person, the rec director, to provide us with all that info. So, all right. So does anybody else have anything?
I think,
No,
well,
I'm
you'd
good.
mentioned, Andy, you mentioned that that geocache looks like it's missing again at
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
flagpole.
yeah.
So I guess, I don't know, it's the third, I don't know if people are stealing it or if it's just getting thrown around by when they cut the grass or weed eating around the flagpole. I'm not sure, but
Which one is that one?
it's the one in front of the Borough Hall.
Gotta get
the-
Paula on it.
I mean, I'm looking at the log and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 people saying, yeah, it's definitely not there.
Right.
As late as just yesterday, I think, or 2
Yeah.
days ago, 3 days ago. So I guess I'll try to find yet another small thing of Tupperware and put something there again.
Jimmy, I can text Kenny and just see if he knows anything about it, because I assume he's the one that does the lawn, right? And
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a chance that he might think it's trash, or
Or
I mean,
maybe some,
there is a note inside of it saying what it is and don't remove it.
Yeah.
But
maybe it's somebody who works for him too.
Yeah. I'll just send him a text and ask him if he knows anything about it. Where is it in relation to the flagpole?
it's at the base of the flagpole is like a metal skirt at the bottom. Up underneath that skirt, you can see it if you're kind of looking down, you know, like you're trying to look underneath the car. You could definitely see it because that skirt doesn't go all the way down to the ground.
Jimmy, do you want me to take care of that? Do you want me to go over and put something there?
Oh, sure, go for it. I mean,
I'll do it tomorrow morning. Does it matter what I put there?
just a small piece of Tupperware that can fit up underneath there. I mean, I guess I was gonna say the smaller the better, but maybe the smaller is more likely to go missing, because this, like I said, the skirt doesn't go all the way to the ground. So if it's a little bit taller, it might, some of it might sit. There's like a concrete base, and then that.
I have like
And that
little
skirt goes
Tupperwares like
down.
this. Is this, were you talking about like I put something in here and stick it under the flagpole?
Let me see what you got. Oh, where'd you go?
It's a
Yeah,
little, like,
that's pretty
round.
much what we did have before. So
And
that would work.
what is it I want to put in there? Like it doesn't have to be something of value, something interesting.
You could put a Hot Wheel car. You could put, I don't know, you can put anything,
Okay.
but nothing of real value, just
Okay.
trinkets.
And just put this thing inside the Tupperware and put it there. You said something about a note.
Yeah, let me find what note I used and email it to you. It
Okay.
basically says what geocaching is and please don't remove this.
Okay.
And
All right.
so
And
on.
I'll go there in the morning and put something there.
Okay, hopefully I'll find that note before that. But yeah, so that's the only thing, and I think eventually someone needs to check out the audio equipment we bought, actually see how to use it and work it. I mean, there's nothing going on now, so it's a perfect time to spend the time to learn it, I think.
We could hold a protest.
We could do that.
Who has the audio equipment? Jimmy, you have it
No, it's in the closet, right?
over at the center?
Last
Yeah.
I saw, yeah.
Yeah, we could have let the police officers borrow it during the march. But at any rate, I mean, I'll be happy to go down there and plug it in and see what I can and can't do if someone wants to join me.
I'd be happy to meet you there too, Jimmy.
Okay.
Yeah, just let me know.
All right. Let me, well, I don't know who has a key, but I guess I could easily just step into the office and grab one from Paula, right?
Yeah, I have a key. But yeah, if it's during, well, I don't know how, is Paula there now or?
She goes
She-
in most days, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I think the door's still locked and they're there, yeah,
okay.
for some time. Does she have a key into that closet too, or just into the rec
Yeah.
room?
She does.
Okay. All right. So Steve, let me find that note for you, and then let me touch base with Paula and make sure that there's nothing going on or any reason why we couldn't.
Okay. And I'm just writing myself an email so I remember. All right.
Yeah, people are still using them, loving them. They really eat those geocaches up.
Maybe that's
Yes.
something we can stick in the newsletter thing.
I
too.
could do that again. I've done it before, but I could definitely do it again.
And say, please stop stealing them. I was in Colorado in the Rocky Mountains years ago, and we were out there for about a week. And one of the days we took a day hike up this bluff, and we just kind of bushwhacked our way up to the top. And we got to the very top. There's like kind of a small rock cairn, and we walked over there, and there was a baby food jar with a note in it, and it was a geocache that had been up in there probably 6 years of snow and full seasons in the mountains. It was kind of neat because then people will put where they're from and when they were there, and even some put their email on there so you could reach them after the fact saying you found it too. But it was literally in the middle of nowhere.
Wow. That's
Cool.
I think it's illegal to do that because it was a state park, but
Yeah, maybe they can't. Maybe they couldn't use the service we use, right?
right. Yeah, I don't think it was on geocaching.com, but it certainly wasn't like off the path. It was you wouldn't be, there's no reason to be up there unless you're doing what we were doing.
And you found it by accident. You just happened to see it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just got to the top and we're looking around and there it was.
Yeah, that's neat.
All right. So, anything else?
I have nothing.
I have nothing.
Me neither.
Good.
And yeah, just let us
Exciting.
know with the races when you want us to start pushing them on social media, because the Burroughs page has thousands of followers. Mayor Harding's page has thousands of followers. So as soon as you want them promoted, just say the word.
Well, I mean, I think if we put them in the newsletter, we might as well try and see if we can get any takers.
Sure.
I mean, that will be part of the decision. I guess, I mean, that's the hard thing about this is because, you push people and then we may have to close it. But I guess that's the risk that everybody knows. I mean, everybody knows that, right?
Yeah.
Only if there's a second wave, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. If we go green, and I think you can agree with me, Jimmy, people are going to be looking for anything they can jump into.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's pretty much virtualed out.
Yeah, it's not fun. Virtual-
Has it been decided when our area is going to go green?
the way that the phases were designed, it's supposed to only be 2 weeks in yellow. So we expect it to be soon, but it's
Okay.
still data driven. So if Memorial Day sends a spike, then
Right. Okay.
Definitely going to be people pushing. What does green do for dining? Does that change anything?
yeah, they're allowed 50% occupancy indoors.
Oh, okay. So that might change things.
And all of our other except gyms, I think, can open, but our salons could open at that point at half capacity as well.
And then is there something beyond green? Once you go from there you
Back
go,
to
yellow
normal.
green.
Yeah.
So they're not even talking about like when they'll open up gyms and full capacity restaurants and all that. They're not even in the.
You can get a waiver from the state to open in green as a gym, but I think it's, but if you're a little boutique, like
Ooh,
personal
right.
training place, probably likely. If you're a Planet Fitness, it's probably not going to happen.
But it's not part of the conversation right now that all of those places will be open.
Not that I've been privy to, but perhaps higher up than I am.
Okay.
I'm sure they're thinking about it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
did see that Patty Witt had a couple people out on the pavement today doing.
Yeah, some of
Gotta
the
do what you gotta do.
weekends are doing things outside, I've been seeing.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're gonna have a lot more clients after this 3 months and house arrest, eating our feelings.
That's true. That's true. All right.
Alrighty.
Well, thanks. It's great to see everybody.
Good to see all you guys. Yep.
Good to hear you.
Yeah.
Well, glad you got on.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm excited.
Steve, I just emailed you something that hopefully it'll work.
Yep, I got it.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Jimmy, if I have any questions, I'll shoot you a text or whatever.
gotcha. Okay,
All right, cool. All right, but I'll take care of that tomorrow morning.
thank you.
You're welcome.
That's awesome. Thanks.
All right, good night, everybody.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
Good night.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good night.